Hey folks, Steven here with Noble Arms, Firearms Education and Training, here to bring y'all that review video on the CZ Scorpion Evo 3. And here she is. CZ Scorpion Evo 3 S1, to be exact. It's a bit of a mouthful, but you know, that's what she said. No, it's not actually. She's never said that about me. Yeah. Anyways, so the Evo 3. There is a newer model called the 3 Plus that has a few, they call them upgrades, but I don't know, it seems more like just a different, same platform, just different arrangement of things. But I'll be sure to go over that. But what we have here is the Evo 3. 9mm blowback operated pistol. Now I emphasize the pistol, not just because of the whole ATF bullshit, but because a lot of times I hear reviewers referring to stuff like this as PCCs, or pistol caliber carbines, to which this is not, okay? The carbine in pistol caliber carbine is in reference to the length of the barrel. By today's standards, that length of the barrel is 16 inches. 16 inches is roughly is about the size of your typical AR-15. AR-15, or as we call them in the Army, M4 carbines, typically come with 16-inch barrels. So this is not a carbine; it is a pistol. Logically, it should be considered a PDW or personal defense weapon, but because of things and powers that be, this is classified as a pistol. But I digress. So, ambidextrous controls for both safeties and the mag release. The mag release is built into the trigger guard, which I personally really like this. It makes me think of my H&K, my VP9. The magazine release is built into the trigger guard in the rear. So something like this is something I'm very fond of. I like this. This is a good method of using for releasing a magazine. And again, it's on both sides, so it's ambidextrous. The charging handle. It is swappable, but it is not ambidextrous. You could take it from one side and place it on the other. Seeing as how I'm correct-handed, lefty, I have it on the right-hand side. But you can, for all you incorrect people, put it on the right-hand side, okay? They thought about the short bus riders. They're doing right by y'all, okay? Another thing we have is we have these little hooks, these little connection points on both sides. I actually occupy these because they forgot to put a QD mount for the correct-handed people on the proper side. So when I use something like this isn't anything fancy. It's a sling. It's not no name brand. It's not 511 or Cry Precision, but you know what? It works. I just hooked it on the back over here to be able to make me a single point sling. That kind of goes into gear and stuff like that. Guys, you don't need to have the fancy shit. If you have the fancy stuff, great, good for you. But it's not mandatory in order to be effective. So, carrying on, polymer upper as well as lower. This particular brace is foldable. It doesn't lock in place, but it is it is relatively stiff to where it's not gonna move on you or anything like that. So that's pretty nice. This is actually my overnight gun. Whenever I'm staying overnight, hotel, different family member's house, or whatever, this is the weapon that I'm taking with me for the temporary home defense gun. So my overnight gun. It also came standard with these aluminum front and rear iron sights. These are great sights, very user-friendly. The rear sight has a unique feature. It has multiple not optics, what am I trying to say here? Different peephole sizes. It's got a very narrow one for taking that long distance shot. It's got that very wide one with working in close quarters. So it's got that. Now, while that feature is pretty cool in of itself, I don't see the necessity for it given the platform that we're using. I believe it's a 6-inch, maybe a 7-inch barrel on this thing. So you're talking about using this style of weapon system for close quarters. This is an in-home, in-house type of weapon system. And you're gonna give me small peephole sights as if I was taking a long distance shot? Again, the feature in of itself is cool, it's nice to have. It's just sitting on the wrong platform. Now I know guys is like, oh man, but you could take a 100-yard shot with that thing and blah, blah, blah. You're absolutely right. I could, if I wanted to, take a 100-yard shot with this. But why are you taking a 100-yard shot in the first place? With a pistol calibered weapon? That thing's gonna lose so much of its ballistic energy. And plus, for the majority of you, you're not law enforcement, so you're under no obligation. Well, even cops aren't obligated, clearly, as we've seen. But there is no pressure on you to advance towards the fire. Everyday citizens, we're not obligated. There is no need to feel pressured into advancing towards fire. But anyways, so again, neat feature, not necessarily on the right platform. It's got your typical birdcage-like muzzle device. I have on here a Streamlight TLR8A. This is typically used for handgun pistols, but it fits very well here on my rail system to be using for this. This has the flashlight and laser combination. I don't typically have lights on my defensive weapons except for this one and the other home defense weapon. There's actually a method of using a light properly. And to just give you an idea on how rarely it's used or how rarely the discipline is practiced, most cops and military folk don't even know how to properly use a flashlight. When I was first introduced to using a flashlight in the Army, they told me just turn it on, make sure you don't flash your buddy on patrol, don't cover him with the light or anything like that. But there's actually a lot more to it. You can't just simply turn this on and start running. But maybe I'll save that for a different video. I think that'll be a good video for y'all. The proper application of a tactical light. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. All right, so, again, awesome weapon. Traditional blowback is what the weapon system is using. It's old, but hey, it works. Mine came with 2 of these 20-round magazines. They're great mags. They work just fine. Very reliable, very tough. I enjoy them. However, like I said, that's the overnight gun. I went ahead and invested into one of these P mags that is a 35-round mag. So, but if y'all been following me for a while, you know I don't tap out my magazines. So typically I only have about 33 rounds in this loaded. But still, that's 33 opportunities to tell the opposition that they made a mistake. And you know, we need to work this out. We need to work it out, all right? So this is not a standard mag that it comes with, but it is a very reliable mag. I haven't had any issues of feeding or anything with this magazine. So again, it works out. One of the things I love about this weapon is one of the ways you can load it. For all of us H&K enthusiasts and MP5 lovers, you can lock the bolt to the rear as such. And then when you're ready, slap it forward. I love that. That's just so much fun. That's pretty awesome. I love doing that. So that is one way to load it. You can load it like your typical MP5. You know, when you really think about it, it's kind of like the blue collar man's MP5. This is going to run you just shy of $1,000. You might end up going a little over, depending on where you're buying the brace. But no, this is like the blue collar guy's MP5. When you think about it, it's fun. It never gets old. But anyways, let's get down to shooting it. Let's try out the 20-round mags. That's how far it comes out. I am at a public range, so I am making a very conscious effort to keep this pointing down range. So that's how the standard 20-round mag looks. It's pretty flush here with the grip. Let's slap it forward and put some rounds down. there it goes. This weapon system also has a last round bolt hold open. I mention that because there's quite a few models out there, especially AR-15 style pistols and pistol caliber carbines that aren't equipped with last round bolt hold open. So it's kind of disappointing. But this one does. It comes with your last round bolt hold open. The changes, I mentioned the changes, right? So the changes from the new one. The newer model, the 3 Plus, has a different grip and grip angle. This one's at a pretty sharp angle. That's even sharper than your typical 1911. But it allows you to get nice and high on it. So I actually like that. It's smooth. There's not a whole lot of texturing. There's just a little bit of like grooves here in the front and back. It's not much, but it's usable. I might end up wrapping some, Talon tape or something around this to give it a little bit more extra grip. Still a little bit more confidence whenever I pick this up. If I'm shaky, if my hands are wet or whatever, it'd be nice to have a little bit more confidence in the grip, to which the new one does. The newer one does not have as drastic of an angle of a grip, and it comes textured. That's the new one, the 3 Plus. Excuse me. So that was one of the changes. They left the safety in the exact same way in place. Apparently, one of the cons of this model that forced them to make the changes in the 3 Plus was people were not liking the angle here because fingers were rubbing off or pressing up against the safeties as they were using them. Even for my right hand, I'd be bumping into that. And over a while, after shooting so many rounds, that can become pretty annoying. So that's one of the reasons, that's the reason why they changed up the grip angle, as well as added texturing onto it. Because there was gripes about fingers and knuckles getting in the way when shooting with the safety. Now, they did away with this paddle-like release magazine release. I know how to talk. Sorry. Anyway, so they did away with this. In exchange, they put on a more AR-15-like style magazine release. It is ambidextrous. You'll have the push button on both sides. So it's more user-friendly towards those of us who like and prefer the AR-15 platform. And they relocated the bolt release. They moved it from here to the back part of the trigger guard, which was kind of an interesting choice. I mean, if you're just gonna put an AR-15 style mag release, why not just also give it an AR-15 style bolt release? So it's kind of weird. So with the newer one, they're still using the trigger guard as a place to locate one of your main controls, the control being your bolt release. It's built into the rear part of the trigger on the updated 3 Plus model. So personally, I'm fine with this. Yeah, after firing a little over 100 rounds or so at a time, yeah, my finger gets a little pressure point right there, but it's nothing that discourages me or makes me not want to shoot it anymore. So let's try another 10 rounds. This time I'm not going to H&K slap it. I'm simply just going to rack it back and forth. There's another way to load it. Trigger. The trigger is decent. I'm not a human scale, but I will go to say it's roughly, it feels like a 5. It feels roughly like a 4.5 to 5 pound trigger. Again, I'm not a human scale, but just judging based off the feel that a lot of us have experiences with Glocks. Typically those are 5.5 pound triggers. So using that method to relate to y'all what I'm feeling, this feels a little bit better than your Glock trigger. It's definitely got a nice pull and reset. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. We're cleared. So I'll use my incorrect hand for y'all. There's some take up. There's the wall. Wall's right there, the break. Here's a reset. It's got a little bit of length to it. It's got a little bit of length to it. Let's see if I can get a little closer here on it. It's got some length to it. But overall not bad. It's very comfortable. It's very fun to shoot. So it's not really something you're going to be thinking of like in the forefront of your mind. So it's a good trigger out of the box. To activate the bolt lock, bolt release, all we do is simply hold the charging handle to the rear, push up on this, and that will lock your bolt to the rear. Last mag, using the bolt release, instead of pushing up, we're going to push down. Oh, never mind. I thought we could. I must have read that wrong. Maybe that's the newer model. Yep, good to go. All right, so let's finish this up. We are cleared. Let's take a look at what I was able to do. I was at 25 feet. So there we have it, 25 feet. Total honesty here. The flyer here and here was not done with this. If y'all remember, I mentioned I'm training to take my license to carry course to be the instructor for the course. These were two flyers from my revolver. I don't shoot revolvers all that much, so I had to kind of reacquaint myself with shooting it, and when I was testing myself, I had two flyers, okay? There, that's what it was. But just so you know, these two flyers are not from the CZ. But as we can see, got a pretty nice grouping here. Iron sights with the largest peephole is very user-friendly. Have no issues whatsoever. If you're not used to using iron sights, I highly recommend that you really master that, because glass breaks and batteries die, folks. So let's just keep that in mind. But again, pretty nice shot group, 25 feet. I mean, the furthest average distance of a stateside engagement is 7 yards, which is 21 feet. So I pushed it out a little bit further than the average. So again, a great weapon system, a great little home defense gun. I really like it. Oh, there's also one more thing, another difference between this one and the updated version. The updated version does not come with the little hooks here on both sides, and they gave them a different set of iron sights. I believe they're raised higher. On the newer one, the sights are a little taller. Apparently, folks were having issues with using their favorite red dots and not being able to co-witness with the iron sights through the red dot. These were too low. And so all they were seeing was, like, you know, the base part of the red dot and not actually through the glass itself. So that was another change. They got rid of the little hook deals on the sides, and they made the iron sights a little higher. So that was the other thing. It also comes standard with this little hand stop you from going all the way forward. But yeah, awesome weapon system. The recoil impulse, because it is a traditional blowback, the recoil impulse is a bit strong than what you might expect a 9mm to do. It does feel very similar to a 5.56 type of kick. That might be a turnoff for some folks, but that's due to the operating system. The bolt is this huge brick chunk of metal flowing back and forth. That's what's causing it to feel so heavy. It is an older method of a system, but it's still very effective and user-friendly. One of the great user-friendly about blowback operated weapon systems is they never rely on a buffering system in the rear. So you could shoot this weapon system with the stock folded. So that's pretty nice. Then again, why you would do that, I don't know, because yeah, I don't. If you want to, just use the brace. Use the brace. That'll work. So folks, that's what I got for y'all today. The CZ Scorpion Evo 3 S1 is what we took a look at today. So if y'all have any questions, comments, let me know down below. Something else y'all want to see, let me know. I might be able to get my hands on it. These retail, again, like I said, for roughly about $1,000. I want to say even the newer ones are roughly around the same price point. So if you're interested in this weapon system, I would highly recommend taking a look at the Plus model and this one and make the decision for yourself on which one you like better. Again, me personally, I love this magazine release built into the trigger guard. I find that incredibly useful. I don't mind the grip angle. And again, I could just throw some Talon tape or something else wrapped around the grip to get a little bit more confidence in that grip for me. So, but take a look at both of them. I highly recommend doing that, my friends. All right, so again, if y'all have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to help y'all. As always, God bless, stay safe, and keep training.